where we are. Thank you for that. I'd like to know where we are joining in from. So if you just like to tell me, where are you joining in from? I don't want to believe everybody here is from Lagos. So I know we have some from Abuja. I don't know if we have anybody from outside Nigeria. I believe we do, but whether they're on this call, I don't know. Yeah. So if you've ever had any business to do with maybe working in the corporate world, overseas, virtually, hybrid, in person, this is for you. Not just working in the corporate world, but communicating with people beyond your immediate environment. Now, when I say beyond the immediate environment, I'm not just talking about beyond Nigeria, right? Even if you're in the diaspora, communicating with people beyond where you are is still part of what we're talking about, right? So you need to learn some things, how to communicate with them because, oh, we're getting this thing wrong. And sometimes this is one of the things that makes some people fail IELTS, I'll say, or not meet up to the expected requirement, IELTS requirement. So I'm super happy for tonight's edition. So you want to tell us where you're calling, where you are? I thought I was on radio. Where you're joining us from? Please let me know where the last time I was on radio was like 3 years ago. All right. So let us know where you're joining us from. I don't know if anybody has placed anything on in the chat. Let me see. Let me see. Let us know where you're joining. We need to know. We need the statistics. Very important. Oh, why am I not seeing any message? What? Are we sleeping? Like, are we sleeping? Wakey, wakey. All right. I can see Emmanuel from Lagos. Emmanuel, you're welcome. I'm from Lagos as well. So who else? Who else wants to tell us? This is how I know we're
I'm
because I can't
from
see your face. Oh, please, you have the floor.
I'm from Abuja, Adama. I used to be in Lagos though.
Okay, Ms. Adama, I know you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. One of
Thank
our
you.
participants at the Orators Guild. You're welcome. So we have a patient joining us from Lagos. We have Ihioma joining us from Abuja. Yeah, so we have two Abuja, two Lagos. Let's see who's going to break the tie. Two Abuja, two Lagos. Port Harcourt. That's Akechi Joy from Port Harcourt. You're welcome. We have Abiola joining from Houston. You're welcome. We have Patricia joining from Oshun. Welcome on board. We have Jackson joining from Lagos. So 3 Lagos. Lagos is leading. Okay, who else? Who else? Let's just take about 3 more and we'll call it a wrap with this segment. All right, who else? Who else? Lagos is leading. Port Harcourt, where are we? Abuja, where are we? Or have I read all 13 people? I think I have. I think I have. So you're most welcome to my session. Thank you so, so much. I'm doing this because I want to be sure we're here. If you can, please turn on your video if you can. All right? Because communication, I always say communication is beyond words. When I say this, people don't understand what I mean. Communication is beyond words. It's your facial expressions, your intonation, your gesticulation, the shin, shin, shin. Who can give me another shin? Right? Yes, that is what communication is about. So speaking or public speaking is only a part of communication. Because we are communicating, I want to see your beautiful and handsome faces. So if you would do me that favor to turn on your video so I know we are here, right? So I know I'm not talking to someone who left the phone in the living room and then they're in the kitchen. I know we can multitask, so we can do this. Thank you so, so much, Ms. Adama. You're my scholar, so you already know the rules, right? Thank you so much. Now, without wasting much time, let's get down to the business of the day. I'll be reading his profile. I want to confirm that everyone can hear me clearly without the background interference. I am, my background is noisy
Yes,
from my end, or is it noisy from your end?
No, it isn't.
Perfect, perfect. So Zoom is giving us what we asked for. All right, is this bold enough? I'm trying to see where I can bolden it. Let me use my fingers. All right. Okay, Emeka Maxwell Onyejiaka is the group CEO of Unique Accent Consultancy Limited. He's a communications strategist, corporate trainer, compare, OAP, leadership coach, and customer service expert. Emeka Maxwell Onyejiaka is a distinguished leader in the field of communication and personal development, serving as the group CEO of Unique Accents Consultancy Limited. With over a decade of experience, he has trained and mentored over 5,000 individuals, including CEOs, bank managers, government officials, and corporate executives across Nigeria and the diaspora. A Canadian-based communication strategist, Emeka has facilitated high-impact training sessions for organizations in North America, including delivering tailored workshops on customer service and relationship management, PWA in Canada. His global perspective and culturally relevant approach continue to position him as a thought leader in the communication space. Emeka is also an accomplished master of ceremony, known for hosting prestigious events in Canada featuring high-profile individuals, top executives, and government officials. His charisma, eloquence, and presence beyond the microphone has earned him recognition across both corporate and social stages. A passionate educator at heart, Emeka holds degrees in political science and English education, combining academic depth with practical expertise. He co-convenes the highly regarded Path to Success Conference and collaborates with Ambassador Dr. Catherine Onyejiaka to deliver powerful online programs in elocution, public speaking, as well as professional polish. In 2018, he was honored as the most creative personality in the education sector by Elitist magazine, one of many accolades that attest to his visionary contributions. Beyond the boardroom and podium, Emeka is a vibrant on-air personality, OAP, and a fitness enthusiast whose energy and discipline influence every area of his life and work. He remains committed to equipping professionals, leaders, and young people with the tools to speak confidently, lead with influence, and thrive globally. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to the Path to Success Conference the co-convener turned host or turned guest for today, and my lovely husband, Mr. Emeka Onyejiaka. Please let the flowers start coming up. Let the flowers start coming up. We're talking about my husband here. Let the flowers start coming up. The applause, yes, we're receiving them. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, don't mind me. I like to be dramatic sometimes. Mr. Emeka, you are most welcome on board. Would like to see your face.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm sure you can see me now. Whoa.
Not yet.
Funnily enough, you asked for a flower.
Thank you
I
for
think
the
Someone gave me a Garden of Eden here.
Oh, Garden of Eden. But are you about to be the Adam and I'm about to be the Eve right now?
No, 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 no.
But we can be, but we're
Mm.
not eating the
No, no,
forbidden
no, no,
fruits.
no. I don't want to have anything to do with the fruit. Right.
Over to you. Thank you so much. We're
Yeah,
glad to
thank
have you
you
here.
very much for welcoming me here. And I'd like to say good evening to everyone. And thank you for joining this session on Say the Path to Success. Yes, 4.0. Now, this is like the fourth edition, right? Yeah, I can remember the
Yeah.
first edition was in 2023, right? Yes, we had a session in
Yes.
2023, 2024, 2025, and 2026. And we're looking forward to pushing this further, reach as much people as we can reach. And each time we come up with this, we've always come up with vibrant speakers, people who are professionals in their respective fields. We don't have silver and gold to give to the people, but what we have is what we are presenting. And that, I think, is better than silver and gold because it will help you to be well equipped in all ramifications. So, once again, I'd like to say a big welcome to all of you and thank you for being here. You could have been somewhere else. You could have been on your bed right now because I'm sure you must have had a hectic day, but you chose to be here to develop yourself. Now, like I said before, we always try to touch all areas, all aspects of our lives, everything that will lead to helping us in becoming the better version of ourselves. And that's why we call it the path to success. So, once again, welcome everyone. So, tonight we'll be discussing the topic titled Communication Etiquette in a Diverse Workplace. Communication etiquette in a diverse workplace. Well, before I move on, I would just like to ask this simple question, and it's a very simple one, and anyone is free to answer the question. Have you ever heard of the word etiquette before? Have you? If you have, please just unmute and say yes.
Yes.
Oh, great. Thank you. Now, if I
Yes.
may ask one other question. Now, I'm not asking you to give me a well-polished answer. No, I would just ask you, what does etiquette mean to you? Anyone is free to talk. What does etiquette mean to you? Okay, I think Ioma, I hope I didn't butcher your name. Yes, Ioma is trying to say something. Please feel free to tell us, what does it mean to you? Talking about etiquette.
Yes, thank you. I believe etiquette. I don't know if I pronounced it well. I'm deaf, so I kind of have a deaf accent, and I don't know. I don't pronounce the way hearing people do, but I believe that acceptable behavior, especially in social circles, public
Okay.
places. So that's what I believe etiquette means. Acceptable behavior.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Oh, amazing. Even though your network was kind of stuttering. Yeah, we didn't get everything you said clearly, but I was able to grab some few key words in what you said. It's like you said acceptable behavior. That is an amazing definition. Even if I didn't hear anything else you said, I heard that. And believe me, you said it all, even though I'll still be hoping to hear from some other people. Well, thank you very much, Ioma. Now, take note. I guess you were concerned about the pronunciation, whether you got it right or wrong. Okay, you actually did well. So if I'd rate you, say 8/10. Should I say 8, 7, 8? Between. Okay, in between. So the parts where you said just do the like etiquette. If you can try that, okay? Yeah, etiquette. Nevertheless, you did a wonderful job. Thank you very much for your contribution, Ioma. So I'd like to hear from you, Ms. Jackson. Hi, Ms. Jackson.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. To the best of my knowledge, etiquette are good manners in which we communicate to one another, be it at the workplace, uh, the or in any organization we find ourselves,
Oh,
just
great.
communicating in good.
Thank you very much. Good manners. That's a good one. Thank you. I appreciate you, Ms. Jackson. Good. So I think someone else indicated earlier. I can't really tell who that was. I think it was Eunice. Hi, Eunice.
A pleasant evening to you, Mr. Menka. Good evening,
Same to
everybody.
you.
Okay, so to me, etiquette is the proper way to behave in a social gathering. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You all have spoken well. Everything you all have said has to do with what? The right way, the appropriate way, the proper way of doing something, which could be anything. So today we are looking at etiquette as regards communication. And you know, communication has to do with what? Interaction. And interaction in this point goes beyond just what you say and what you hear. It also has to do with what you see. And that is because communication could come in different ways. Okay, so we'll be taking these one after the other. So once again, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of you for your contributions so far. I'll try as much as I can to make this session an interactive one because I just don't want to be the only person talking. I would really like you to say whatever you feel. Now, before I proceed, I'd like you to note something. I am not here to teach. Nah, I am here to talk. Okay, I am here to talk. And most of the things I'll be talking about are things you already know.
Yes, sir.
So, talking about things you already know is more like creating an awareness.
No, no,
An
no, guys. Here is
awareness.
done. And yep, is done.
Okay, good. So what I'll be doing today is like setting what I'll call a reminder, because everything I'll be talking about tonight, I think you already know, but I'll be reminding you how to go about these things you already know. Okay, so once again, you all are welcome. So talking about communication etiquette, I just want to ask or say one simple truth. For some of us here, I know we are employed. Maybe some are self-employed, or should I say some are employers. Well, I don't know your background, but whatever I'll be saying here today, I will try as much as I can to apply it, you know, to what suits you. Okay, good. So I want you to remember something. If you are an employer, or even if you are an employee, an employer is also hired by your clients, okay? And if you're an employee, you are hired by an organization. Now, what is that major thing that got you hired? What do you think could be the major thing that gets one hired? Well, while I await someone to say something, I have one word for it, and that word is talent. So at this point, I'd like you to know that talent is that thing that is most likely to get you hired. But that is just for the hiring process. After being hired, what's next? What keeps you hired? Not just getting you hired, but keeping you hired. Would you believe me if I told you that they could get to a point where your talent alone cannot help you sustain the job or a position? Talent alone is not enough. And there are times where talent is not enough, but what is enough to help you keep not just your job, but also improve or should I say get promoted, is communication. So talents may get you hired, but trust me, communication determines how far and fast you rise. So you know that today's workplace is unlike what it used to be. Yes, today's workplace is way different from what it was, say, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Because now we work with people from different cultures, people from different generations, people with different beliefs, people with different communication styles. At that, we can simply say that what sounds normal to one person may sound offensive to another. And what feels confident to one person may appear arrogant to someone else. So going back to what I said earlier when I said the workplace is unlike what it used to be. Today you have people working in Nigeria, but they are working with organizations in Canada, in the US, in the UK. Give an example using my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law has worked with in fact, he's working with an organization here in Canada, Toronto precisely. He has worked with an organization in Minnesota in the US, as well as in Egypt. I think one other country that I can't remember right now. Now, guess what? He had never stepped his foot on these places. I'm not talking about the country, but these organizations he's working. I know that is no news to you. It is normal now, but it never used to be the case. So this is someone who works with a multinational organization. And when I say multinational, it means he has colleagues, co-workers that come from different parts of the world. Now, what is that thing you think can keep someone like that going, apart from his talents, apart from his skills? And mind you, he works every day, and they hold meetings every day, like on a daily basis. So what is that thing you think that could keep someone in that sort of workspace going on a daily basis when he has to meet with people from different parts of the world every day? Because they all communicate. So the absence of etiquette in that communication, because naturally we can call that a diverse workspace. So one thing that keeps everything going smoothly is what? Communication etiquette. So because of this, success in today's professional environment is no longer determined by what you know. It is also determined by how you communicate what you know. So I'd just like to remind you once again that in this session, we'll explore the practical rules of communication that help professionals build respect. It also helps professionals to what? Avoid unnecessary conflicts and thrive in multicultural environments. When this topic came up, I had something that I considered better in mind, but when I saw this, I was like, okay, fine, let me just talk about this. And the reason I chose to talk about this is because I know how many people struggle when they find themselves in a corporate organization. Success is not determined only by what you know, how you communicate. Oh, thank you. Someone was rephrasing what I said. Okay, thank you very much for that. Or should I say paraphrasing what I said earlier? Thank you. Good.
Yes,
So, I'm sorry about that. So going back to what I was saying, how you communicate that thing that you know, it goes a long way. I've seen so many people who were struggling And you know, today we find ourselves like, okay, some of you said you were based in Lagos, some are based in Abuja. Yes, these are heterogeneous societies, we can tell. But there are some other parts of Nigeria, for example, that you find people who live there, the only people they know how to communicate with in the workplace are people who are from that part of the country. Although Lagos is a different case because it's a heterogeneous society. Yet many people still find it difficult to communicate because everyone there is coming from a different part of the country. Now, I don't want to limit this to Nigeria alone. I want to look at this from the global perspective. You might see yourself where you are today and think that's all there is. You don't know what tomorrow holds. You don't know where you'd find yourself tomorrow. And you might still be in Nigeria or other parts of Africa, and you might just get a contract to work with people from other parts of the world. There are many things you need to consider when you find yourself in this sort of position. And just so you know, it goes beyond the corporate world. I don't want to limit this to the corporate world alone. If you are a crayfish seller, for example, don't think this doesn't concern you. It concerns everybody. Yeah, it does concern everybody, simply because we have people who are crayfish sellers, as the case may be, but internationally. Yes, they deal with the global markets. Someone who sells bitter cola, he deals with the global markets. Someone who sells charcoal, the charcoal you know, could be an international distributor. So don't think what I'm saying here doesn't concern you, because I can't channel this to everybody's profession, but I'll just make it to use the corporate world as a case study, so you can know how you can fit that into into what you do. So for me, I have found myself in the Nigerian workspace, and I've also found myself in the Canadian workspace, like what we call it, the corporate Canadian, Canada, corporate Canada, and the corporate Nigeria. So I know that the only thing that got me thriving here is because of what I'm about discussing with you, that I've always been practicing even while I was back home. So we'll be taking these one after the other. I'm sorry, over time I might just deviate because I didn't have everything I'm discussing here scripted per se. So I'll just deviate once in a while. So please, as we move on, I'd really appreciate it if you turn off your audio, or should I say mute your audio. Okay, thank you. So by the end of this conversation, I would really hope that you will understand how small adjustments, yeah, because I said these are things you already know. So small adjustments in your communication can create powerful professional results. Now, let me ask this simple question. This question goes out to everybody, okay? So if you have something to say, feel free to tell. Have you ever, okay, been misunderstood before? Not because of what you said was wrong, not because what you said was wrong, but let's say be misunderstood because what you said was misinterpreted. Has anyone found himself or herself in such position before? Anyone?
Yes.
You have, okay. All right. Does anyone care to share? I just want someone to say something. Let's see if we can look at that deeply. Someone said yes. Was that Collins? I'm sorry, Joy. Was it Joy or Best? Who said yes before?
I did.
Okay. Do you care to share? Can you just tell us anything about it? Anything, even if you're not going deep into the whole situation. Just tell us. What was it like? You said something, someone misinterpreted it or misunderstood you. But what you said was right. All right. What you said was right. It wasn't wrong, but you were misinterpreted. So do you care to share? Does anyone care to share?
Let me just try to say something.
Okay.
I think it happens a lot of times though. But then the one I can remember vividly that happened recently was with a customer. The customer came in to make inquiries about our products, and then it turned out what he was hearing me say was totally different from what I was saying. And I thought he understood what I was saying. Now, where the problem now started was after the registration of the product, and then it got to payment. That was where the whole trouble just started. And I said, but he thought I said, and I said, no, sir, I didn't say this was what I said. And he said, but he heard me say, and honestly, it took a serious, in fact, intervention from other colleagues to, pacify the customer and then to get him to buy the stuff eventually. So I don't know why. In fact, that was why I was so happy when I saw this, the topic for this event. I said, let me just come and maybe I can brush up the way so that people can understand me better when I speak.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing. Okay, so if you're talking about brushing up your spoken English, yeah, unique accent can offer that. Right? So here today we are actually looking at that the manner at which you speak. Okay, the manner at which you speak. However, as time goes on, maybe the day we'll have Titus Bankole. He will address some of those things, okay? So you're on the right track. All right. So at this point, I would like you to know that communication etiquette is essential, very, very essential in a diverse workplace. So now what is communication etiquette? Communication etiquette. I would just put it in this simple format. It refers to the professional and respectful way we communicate with others in the workplace. Simply put, okay? It is the professional and respectful way. Remember, I added the word respectful. You cannot undermine that word, okay? So it is the professional and respectful way we communicate with people, or should I say with other people in the workplace. Now, what makes this professional? It is because it includes your tone of voice. Please, I'd like you to take note of that. Your tone of voice matters. Your choice of words matters. Your listening skills, body language, email behavior, yes. Sometimes we don't know that there is a behavior that could be attached to email, even though it was typed. All right. Another very important thing, more especially when you're talking about a heterogeneous society like we have in Lagos, like we have in multinational organization, is cultural awareness. Very key. Conflict management. Yes, conflict management. Now, before I touch on these one after the other, I would want you to know that etiquette is not weakness. Yeah, it is not weakness. Why did I come up with this? You know, talking about tone of voice, talking about choice of word. Okay.
Yeah, I missed something. Good evening, sir. Communication etiquette is the professional and respectful way we communicate with other people in the workplace because it includes your tone of voice. The next one, I missed it.
Okay, your choice of words.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. So, talking about your tone of voice, it goes a long way. It goes a long way. Your choice of words goes a long way. Now, you see, when you do these things these ways, sometimes people take it for weakness. Now, who are those people that might take it for weakness? Most times you find people who lead, or should I say team leads, for example, team leads, just as the supervisors, the managers, even the owners of the organization. Sometimes people think etiquette is weakness. Like when I'm so calm, when I try to speak this way, when I try to behave in this manner, people see me as being weak. It means my authorities will not be respected. When I talk, people might take me for granted. But if there is anything I'd like to let you know at this moment, it is not weakness. It is emotional intelligence in action. Because there are ways you talk to people. They know when you were serious and when you were not. Okay, let me give this example. Please, I'd really appreciate it if we can mute our audios, okay, at this moment. Please mute your audio unless you have to say something concerning us here, all right? I'd really appreciate it if you can do that. Thank you. So, talking about etiquette not being, communication etiquette not being weakness, you don't have to yell in order for you to stamp your authority. Okay, let's look at this. Let me just think of these few words. Look at that moment when someone like a team lead or a supervisor is talking to the subordinates and he's saying, this project has to be we have to round off with this project today, otherwise we'll lose this contract. Now he's passing on an information, right? A very important one. But you don't have to say it that way in order for everyone to know that you mean it. I can simply say, we have to ensure that this contract is executed today. Otherwise, we'll lose it. Now you can see, I said, like, maybe not word for word, but I said the same thing. One was me yelling, and some people think it's only when they yell that they are passing authority. But the other one came with authority, even though I was calm talking. So your tone goes a long way. And like I said, choice of words. Okay, let's look at this scenario. Now I'm calling Dr. Catherine, and I'm like, Dr. Catherine, Dr. Catherine, Dr. Catherine, please respond. Dr. Catherine.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
That man over there is calling you. And she asks, which of the men? That one, the old man. Maybe truly the man is old. But was I supposed to say old man? Remember, I'm talking about choice of word. We are coming into an age where almost everything is becoming sensitive to people.
Yeah.
Now, he might be old, maybe 65 years old, but in actual sense, whether he was sensitive or not, that was rude, you know? It's rude. So how do you get yourself out of situations like this? This is where vocabulary development comes into play. It is something you don't want to joke with. And when I say vocabulary development, in case you're wondering what vocabulary development is, I'll call it like a word bank, right? Your word bank. Okay, let's look at your financial bank, where you have all your money. You make a purchase. In order for you to make a payment, what do? You withdraw some money, right? And make your payments, right? Good. Your word bank is like your account where you store your words. It's in here. I've been talking for like, God knows how long, say 20 minutes now. Where am I getting the words from? Have I used any word that I don't know? Yeah. Have I used any word that I don't know? The answer is no. All the words I've said so far are words that I know. Just like all the money you can spend are money that you own. So if you wish to make more purchases, It means you need to have more money. And that is how it is with your vocabulary. If you need to know alternative words, you have to fill up your what? Your vocabulary. Know alternative ways of saying a particular thing. So instead of me saying that old man, I can simply say the elderly man. That is polite as different from saying the old man. So, talking about our choices of words, or should I say our choice of words, it is very key, more especially in a corporate organization, or should I say a corporate work setting, or should I also say a diversified organization or workspace, a workplace. So you want to work on that. Remember, this whole thing is all about what? It's all about self-development, improvements. Now, remember, I talked about listening skills as well. Now, this is one thing everybody can do, but not everybody. Not everybody. Not everybody does this. We all can listen, but we don't listen. I'm sorry I had to put it that way. These days, you find many people hearing you, but not listening to you. And the reason I said it that way is because people only listen to react. For you to be a good listener, it is a skill. It is something you want to build in yourself. And it has to do with patience as well as intentionality. So all of these I'll be talking about as time unfolds, but I just want to touch them briefly. So having mentioned these, let's move on to body language. Body language is one funny thing that, okay, let me put it this way. Remember back in the years where our mothers would tell you yes in the presence of a visitor, but their face is telling you no. Just imagine that moment your mom took you to like her friend's place, and the friend is like, "Oh, I have some jollof rice. Patience, do you care for some jollof rice?" And Patience looks at her mother, and the mother was like, "Hey, you can eat it if you want. You can eat it." But her face wasn't saying you can eat it. It means you cannot eat it, and you understand that. That is a body language, facial expression. It could be your mood, it could be your gestures, it could be your eye contact. So all of these things are things you want to be intentional about. Okay. So talking about having talked about body language, we also have email behavior. Email behavior. Just look at that moment where you were talking to someone, or you're sending an email to someone from the other department, and you were saying, as soon as this thing is ready, you send it to me ASAP. Now, ASAP is becoming a thing. In fact, it's a thing. But to you, it goes. For someone else, it might not go. So you want to avoid those kind of words that will make you sound so strict or rude to people. As a matter of fact, yeah, we can say you don't need anyone's validation to be you. But who is that you? Is the you a you that anyone could go along with, or a you that some people see as being rude, or a you that some people cannot cope with? So that you that people can cope with is the you that has to be seen in an organization. Because remember, everything you do in that organization is for the greater goal, as much as it is for your own personal goal, which is what? Growth. All right. So, having talked about these, we move on to cultural awareness. Cultural awareness is a thing these days. Moving away from the local settings, talking about our immediate environment, which is like in Nigeria, the workplace there. What about at the international space? Remember what I said about my brother-in-law who works with a firm that is situated here in Canada, where you have a lot of Indians. An Indian who, before he says 5 words, his head must have dangled 10 times. I'm sorry for saying that. Right? But that's the reality. Now, that might not be cultural, but in some ways it is, because 5 out of every 7 Indians you come across, that's that. And they have their own cultures. They have their own beliefs, their religious beliefs, their cultural beliefs, all of these things you want to put into consideration. And that is when my philosophy comes into play. Well, it's my philosophy, but I'm not owning it, but it is something that works for me. And what is that thing? Know something about everything and know everything about something. Knowing everything about something is, you can't know everything actually, but that's area of specialization. You should know everything about it, your area of specialization. But should you just dwell there? The answer is no. Know something about every other thing. It could even be sports. It could be music. I don't like the current crop of music that we have today. I like classic music. Now, does that make me old school? Even though I am relatively one, but I still try to know what's going on today. If you talk about Burna Boy today, I have at least one thing to contribute. If you talk about the FC, I have something to say. If you talk about the war in Iran right now, I have a lot to say about it. Talk about the Miss World that was held last year, I have something to say about it. Am I really interested in Miss World? The answer is no. Talking about the fasting going on right now, I know something about it. The Ramadan, I know something about it. And that moment I am interacting with someone who is observing a fast right now, I know how to cooperate with that person. I have something to say that will make that person feel what? Welcomed. Feel what? Respected. Have you ever found yourself or found someone who is not a northerner, for example, speaking Hausa to a Hausa man? Have you found someone like that before? How do you
Yes,
think, how do you see the Hausa man? I'm just using that as an example. How do you see the Hausa man responding?
they're always very excited.
Thank you. Now that is because what? They are seeing someone who is at par with them. So knowing something about someone's culture, it goes a long way. It helps you to relate easily with them, understanding their culture, not setting a standard with your own culture. It is very, very wrong because it is something that works for you. It might not work with them. I could remember, okay, Dr. Catherine, let me be official now before everyone here. I remember on the 27th of June 2015, right, when we were preparing for our wedding. I'm sorry, everyone, okay? I'm sorry. Yeah. Remember that very faithful morning when I called you and you were having your makeup and I sang a song
Yeah, that
and
was wonderful.
you were happy, smiling from cheek to cheek, you know, ear to ear. I was actually dressing up and I wore my shirt. And everyone, of course, if you've gone through that process, you know what it means to say, um, uh, you know what it means to say. It's not easy on that very morning. Everything is in a rush. Okay, so I wore my shirt and I was wearing my pair of trousers And my friend who was there assisting me was like, why are you dressing this way? Why are you wearing the shirt? Sorry, why are you wearing the trousers before the shirts? Yeah, that was the situation. And that was Tochiku, right? Remember Tochiku? So he was like, why are you wearing the trousers before the shirt? Don't you know you're supposed to wear the shirt before the trousers? Now I want you to answer this question before everybody here. When we eventually got into the, walked down the aisle, and when we said, I do, did you care to know how I wore my shirt and trousers? Did you, Dr. Catherine? No. Okay.
We did.
Okay. Before we were joined, did anyone say, before I joined the both of you, young man, how did you wear your shirt and trousers? The answer is no one asked me that question. Good. Was I looking smart or not?
We're looking
Well,
smart
are you
enough. So.
shy? Don't tell me you're shy right now. Right. So what am I trying to say here? How I did it is not what matters. I did it in my own way, but someone was trying to set a standard for me, telling me this is how I should be doing it. The ends, like they say, justify the means. Was I looking smart or not? I was. Was I well dressed or not? I was. But someone was telling me the way you did it was wrong. It was supposed to be the shirt before the trousers. So you don't impose your methodology. As long as it is something that is peculiar to you, you don't impose it on people and you don't set a standard with that. Yeah, there are some certain things you might want to say, well, I have a better way of doing this. How about trying this way? Instead of telling that person the way you were doing it is wrong. Well, I think I'll address that later. Okay, so having talked about these, let us move on. So now we have to look at understanding the workplace diversity. All of these things we've said so far has to do with the modern workplace, which is known to be diverse, as different from the way it used to be back in the years. Now, what are those different things that we are likely to find in a workplace today? Things such as culture, race. Yes, I mentioned race because we are not limiting ourselves to just that part of the world where we are from. Remember what I said about someone who deals on charcoal. He's an international exporter who deals with people from all parts of the world. And in that case, you're dealing with people of different race. So we can call that meeting they hold as a workplace, which is diversified. So you find people with different culture, people with different race, different language, even accent, different religion, different gender. How many things have I said so far? 6. Let me see if I can reiterate. Culture, race, language. Even in a particular language, we also have accents, we have religion, we have gender, people of different age groups, people with different educational background, professional hierarchy. So in your workplace, you have people of different positions. That's what I meant by the professional hierarchy. People of different culture, people of different race, people of different religion. Even in Nigeria, we have what we call the Christian religion, we have Islam religion, we have the African traditional religion. which is also what? Diversified. Because you have people in the western parts of Nigeria, even though you call them practicing African traditional religion, yes, they must be respected. It's their choice. We have a freedom of worship.
Yeah.
So even in the same African traditional religion, we have people who worship the Shango, we have people who worship Amadioha, people who worship, name it, there are many, even up till today. So you want to respect that. I mentioned gender. Yes, gender is becoming a very sensitive thing today in the world. Giving you an example, using this part of the world where I am right now, you don't see someone and you address them as, you just address them as sir, even if the person is a man. You don't just see someone and address them as mom, even if that person is a woman. And even if I have to write
Sorry,
something,
we lost
okay?
connection at some point. We lost connection from your end at some point. So you might want to reiterate that.
Can you tell me the last thing you heard?
Talking about gender.
Okay. All right. I said gender is becoming, not like becoming, it is now a very sensitive thing globally. It is not as much as it is in Nigeria when compared to maybe the western parts of the world. But guess what? It is drawing closer. Believe it or not. It takes just one president to come in and say, I am proposing this, and the House of Assembly giving it a yes. Just that one process. Coming down to this part of the world, you don't just see someone and address them as sir, even if who you are seeing has mustache, has beards. I can't just see someone, maybe I'm writing a report and I'm writing, describing a man, and who I saw was a man. You and I know he's a man. I won't put a man, I saw a man. I will write it as an individual who appeared to be a man. That's what I'll say. Yeah, it is that sensitive. And I don't just see someone and say this person is a man and call them sir. I know the sir thing, the ma'am thing, it thrives in Nigeria. But remember, in any little way I can impute the experiences I've gathered in these both work situations, I'll say it. And even the ma'am thing in Nigeria, you also have to be too careful. I mean, careful, not to say it too much. Because, yeah, I understand we are always too respectful, and that even makes us to, before making two sentences, you've addressed that person as ma'am or madam or ma 10 times. Now look at this situation. You walk into an office to present a proposal or present a business idea with someone whom you booked an appointment with. You had never met them before. You want to make every best impression that you can ever think of. And you walked into her office. And maybe you realize the person's name is, let me think of one name here, Mayrose. And you address the person as Mrs. Mayrose. And the moment you're saying, okay, so Mrs. Mayrose, okay, let's say you said Miss Mayrose. And Mayrose is a Mrs. And you know what it means like for a married woman. I'm sorry, I'm not coming at you, but you know what it means like for a married woman who is married and is a boss, and you're addressing her as a single lady. You might want to get that, hello, point of correction. I'm married. You might get that. And that might just be a red flag because she might find it offensive. Right. Now think of that situation where it was someone who was single, and you address them as Mrs. And maybe it's someone who is ripe for marriage. How do you think that person will feel? They might go home and cry their eyes out. I'm sorry, I'm just saying this. They might go home and cry their eyes out. Like, everyone is thinking I'm married. God, why? God, when? I hope you get it right. So you want to avoid that. I know someone might be thinking, so how do I address them when I don't know their marital status? Well, be on the safe side. You can just simply say Miss. Miss is what I said. I didn't say Miss. Okay, maybe I'll touch that a bit. Now, you know, for the female gender, we have the MRS, we have the MISS, and we have the MS. These three different titles are pronounced differently and used differently. So for the MRS, it is what? Mrs. And that is, like you know, for a woman who's married. While the MISS is for a spinster. So what about the MS? Now, just so you know, the MS, many people know this, but they don't know about it. The MS is for anybody that's a female that is either married or single. So take note, the MS is not like MISS, because MISS is Miss with the S, while the MS is like Ms, sounding like the Z. So if you find yourself addressing someone as Ms., let's say Ms. Mayrose, and she corrects you to say, oh, point of correction, I am married. You know, you can politely, oh, you can appreciate it and politely explain to her that I actually meant Ms., I meant no offense because I didn't know whether or not. Yeah, so I meant no offense. So I wasn't discriminating. I just said Ms., which is for either a married or a single lady. And you know, there are ways you can say it and she'd be like, oh, you might just end up teaching someone something. All right. So all of these things are things we want to be. Sorry, what did you say?
Angry ones.
I didn't get that.
I said not the angry ones.
Yeah, not the angry ones, but you can't help it if that is their nature. Right. So having talked about this, remember I also mentioned the age groups. You want to know how to communicate with people of different age groups. These days, many people are hired based on what they can offer. Many people, a lot of people. And for that reason, you find people working in organizations where they might be very young, while some might be very old. What are those, what are they called again? We have the bloomers, right? We have the bloomers, those who were born between, I mean, after the First World War, 1946, between 1946 and 1964, are the bloomers. Some of them are still in the workforce. We have the Gen X, right? That's the next between 1965 and 1980. We have, of course, the millennials between 1981 and I can't remember, maybe 2000 or 99, right?
95.
Okay, 95. Oh, thank you. So the 95 up till now are called the Gen Zs, right? Or say, no, till 2013. 2013. Because from 2013, they are the Gen Alphas. Right. Now, remember, these are people of different what? Different generations. There are things that Gen Z might say now, and I'll be like, sorry, can you repeat that? I might not cope. Just as there are things I can say that the bloomers would not know what I'm talking about. So we want to consider all these factors. And that is why communication, effective communication is key. Now, that is a story for another day. And if it is something you're really interested in, contact Dr. Catherine after the session. Right. So effective communication helps you to communicate with people in plain language, a language that anyone from any generation can comprehend. That is what you want to communicate in, not sorry, what are those terms they use now? I'm sorry, clock it, right? Sincerely, up till now, I don't know what that means. Right? I don't know what that means. You don't want to use such terms. Yeah, whenever you were in that small space with your peers, no problem, you're good to go. Be you. But you see, in that workspace, you don't have to be you up to that point. The you that you have to be is the you that everybody can cope with. Because there are some certain things you'd say, someone of a different generation might find it offensive. Yeah. And remember what I said earlier, the world is becoming excessively what? Sensitive. And that is because everyone is different. And if there is anything I'd like to let you know, it is the fact that different is not wrong. Being different is not wrong. The truth of the matter is, different is different. I don't know if that makes any sense. Different is different. We are not of the same age grade means we are not of the same age grade. We don't have the same cultural values means we don't have the same cultural values. We are different means we are different. But in order for us to achieve that common goal that brings us together, which is the workspace, we must try to be what? In harmony, irrespective of the age grade, irrespective of the culture. And how can we do that? We can only do that the moment we respect each other's boundary or one another's differences. I don't know if I'm communicating. If what I'm saying is making any sense to you, please let me know. Like I said, I'm not teaching, I'm just here to talk. And so far, I hope all I've been talking about makes sense. Does it? Oh, thank you for that
Totally,
confirmation,
huge sense.
Joy Collins. Thank you. So, having talked about these, let's look at those, what I'll call the core principles of communication etiquette. And this core principle is one, something I'll call respect. Respect before expression. How does that sound to you? How does that sound? It means someone is saying something. Someone is saying something. I need to express my own side of that very thing. What do I do? Do I just disagree? Would I just debunk all the person is saying? It doesn't sound nice. What do I do then? I have to respect that person or the person's opinion before I express mine. It is very key, very key. So even when we disagree, respect must remain intact. Remember, the word I mentioned is what? Must. It must remain intact. So now, when someone is saying something, remember, I don't agree with that. It will be very wrong, or should I say, highly unprofessional for me to say, no, you're wrong. No, that thing you just said is very wrong. You're wrong. I've been following up everything you've been saying so far, and I think on this one, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. Indeed, the person might be wrong. Okay. Okay.
Sorry to interject. Someone posted something related to that as though she knew. We're going to talk about that today on the platform. just before
Okay.
the class. I don't know if you've had time to go through it. Between Rafai
Okay.
and what's the other
Joe
lady's
OG,
name? Is it
OG.
OG? Yeah, OG.
Okay.
So OG said something. You know, OG could be very assertive, very assertive. So she said something, and of course, Rafai, he didn't buy what OG said, and then I'm not sure he acknowledged, but I think he said something to debunk what OG said. And OG had to put him right, telling him, look, it is my opinion. I have right to express my opinion. But Rufai, what I saw them doing, it was a game of who speaks last. So Rufai did not want to acknowledge, Rufai did not want to acknowledge that OG said that out of her own opinion. So he kept talking. OG wanted to just silence him by getting the other man to air his view. But Rufai wanted to get the last word. So OG kept saying, it is my opinion. I am entitled to my opinion. It is my. So OG became even louder than Rufai. And you know, Arise News will always they I don't know, back in the days what we knew the media house, and it's no longer what we see now. So you can attack the other person, you can stand on a different point of view, and it's just entertaining at the end of the day. You understand? So she said, the lady on the platform, she said, from what they learned during our emotional intelligence class, the both of them were wrong. Right. So I don't know if you can maybe relate that to what you say. I thought of it. I don't like to give that. I'm just like, okay, I'll take my time to digest it, because at the end of the day, you said etiquette should not be weakness. Etiquette is not. Wait, can you mute the person? All right. Etiquette is not weakness. So at what point, I'm not asking a question now, I'll ask the question later, but we can just talk about that. I don't know if you can touch that a bit. Then later I'll ask the questions.
Right. You mentioned something. You said the both of them were wrong. Right?
Yeah, she said, I'll give her the credit. She said.
Okay. Someone said the both of them were wrong. In actual sense, the both of them were wrong. I'll concur with that. Reason is, like we said, you have to respect before expression. I just mentioned that not long ago, even when we disagree. Okay? Yeah. So now, for the fact that OG kept insisting that it was her own what? Her own opinion, and she was entitled to it. Truth be told, she was entitled to it. And like you said, it was a tug of war of who would speak last. And that is where OG became wrong, because in actual sense, it was her own opinion. I see cases where Rufai would say something and Dr. Ruben Abati would debunk it. But at the end of it all, they also have a way of presenting these to the listener, to the viewer, to pick his own side of the divide. Yeah. So if they didn't present it that way, it means that both of them were wrong. Rufai was supposed to respect that as OG's opinion. OG, on her own part, knowing full well that that was her own opinion, was also supposed not supposed to be too loud, trying to make a point that it's her own opinion. They should have just left it for us, the viewers, to pick our own sides of the divide. So the both of them were totally wrong, the both of them. Now look at what I stated here. I stated earlier, even when someone said something that you don't buy the idea, all you were supposed to do is acknowledge that person's, and you might want to say, I see your point. I see your point, but I have a different perspective. You know, I see your point, but I have a different perspective. Or you can simply say, well, that was a very good point, but how about we consider this? in this fashion? How about we give it a second thought by considering it from this perspective? Now, you see, you were giving that person the time to say, okay, let's hear what you have to say. You were even helping that person to buy your idea, which you consider to be a better idea. Why? Simply by acknowledging, respecting that person's decision.
Yeah.
It came from a deep thought. You don't make the person feel like they stress themselves out even thinking of contributing something, more especially when it's a gathering. There are too many people who didn't open their mouths to say a word, and someone constructed something which they think is the best way forward, even if that's not the best way forward. It is always nice to acknowledge them. Being who I am and what I do and what we have been doing for over a decade, I teach people. I teach people of high caliber, and I find them giving wrong assertions or wrong answers to my question. Will it be right for me to say, whether high or low, say, no, that was wrong. That was wrong. The answer to the question, no, you failed it. You failed it. You don't do that. You have to acknowledge the person's efforts by simply saying, even though what you asked was A and the person answered B. Look, making the move to give an answer to your question in the first place is an effort that should be acknowledged. So you have to acknowledge that. Even if the answer is wrong, okay, all right, I really appreciate you for making the efforts to come up with this answer. Okay, this answer is very okay. But let's look at it from this point, okay? If you had done it this way and done it that way and done it that way, you would have arrived at this, and arriving at this would have given us a better result. So acknowledging people's efforts shows respect. So remember what I termed this earlier. I said respect before expression. So respect preserves relationship. It does. It goes a long way because even at the end of it, the person might feel like, okay, at least I was respected. Okay. So another thing we might want to look at, which is very key, is tone management. Yes, I understand that sometimes we can't help it talking about our tone. Now, let me give you what I think is the reason as to why our tone sometimes could be perceived as something different. Before I talk about that, a couple of weeks ago, exactly 2 weeks ago, I went to an organization where I conducted a training for the customer service department. And I met someone who is a Ugandan, a lady. And she asked, where are you from? And I said, I'm Nigerian. She's like, Nigerian? Are you kidding me? I said, no, I'm not kidding you. I am Nigerian. She was like, why do you sound different? Now, she wasn't just talking about my spoken English. She was also talking about the calmness. She said, no, this is not how Nigerians speak. I was like, how do Nigerians speak? And imagine when a woman, a female, is trying to husk her voice. And she was like, Nigerians, all the Nigerians have seen, they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Something like that. Okay. Now, the reason I pointed that out is because of an experience I had just yesterday. where I went to shop, and the person who was attending to me at the end introduced himself as Don, and I introduced myself as Emeka. And it was like, Amek. I said, no, Emeka, I'm Nigerian. And it was like, for real? All the while we've been talking, you're a Nigerian? I said, yes. Interesting. I was thinking you're from. I said, yeah, I get that all the time, but I'm a Nigerian, a proud one. He said, wow. Wait. I want to ask you a question, okay? Please don't feel offended. Nigerian women, why do they always shout? Now I'm just trying to play the way he did. Why do Nigerian women always shout when they are talking? They're aggressive. And I said, shout? He said, yes. So that moment, yes, I could relate, because sometimes even when I'm on transit, like in a public transportation, I see Nigerians and I'll be like, oh, this is my sister. Oh, that's my brother. I know. Nigerians are never calm talking. Okay. I'm arriving at something though.
Never.
Yeah. So while he was saying that, why do Nigerian women, now he said women. Do you know why he said women? I later realized that because I was calmly talking to him and he was enjoying our conversation all along. And I'm a Nigerian. And all the Nigerian women he had seen that worked there were loud. So he thought Nigerian women, at that point, he concluded, maybe before then, he might be thinking Nigerians are loud. But at that moment, he might narrow it down to the women. And I said, okay, would you mind if I explain something to you? He said, yes, please, explain. I said, good. I said, English is your language, right? He said, yes. Do you have any other language apart from English? He said, no, that it's his language. I said, good. Okay, I'd like you to understand that for an average Nigerian, English is a second language. And when a language is a second language, there is an opportunity for one to have a mother tongue interference, meaning their first language is interfering whenever they are speaking their second language. Now, let me make this clearer to you. It's like when a typical Igbo man speaks, you understand, you don't need to ask them to know they are Igbo. All right, I'm saying typical. When a typical Hausa man speaks, you don't need to ask, you know. When a typical Yoruba man speaks, you will know. Okay, so now it is the interference of the mother tongue. And you know the tones that come with these, our first languages, they vary. Now, I don't mean no jab, but you could tell that the tone that comes with some languages, more especially in the southern part of Nigeria, are very loud. Now, anyone who has that and is speaking the English language and the mother tongue is interfering, I'll be surprised if the person is not loud. I hope that makes sense. So I try to explain this to him, and the way I explained it, maybe not word for word the way I'm saying it now, because you all can relate to what I'm saying, he totally understood me. And he said, no wonder that you see why it's not really good for one to be, to have this sense of prejudice, to prejudge people. That would you believe, now he was asking me, that someone called, a customer called, because he's the manager of this shopping center. And he said someone called to complain about that lady, one of those ladies, because he had seen a couple of them, about 3 different Nigerians who were loud and aggressive, according to him. Then one of them, someone called to complain And the person was like, that lady over there is very rude. She is rude and aggressive. He got the first complaint via phone. He got another complaint in person. So he took his time to observe her, to see how she was interacting with customers. And at the time, he decided to go closer to her. And he said, Amika, that's how he called me yesterday. Do you know what I realized? I said, please tell me. He said, I realized someone with a beautiful soul. Now he kept on wondering if someone who has this beautiful soul, as he explained, could appear aggressive, what then is the reason? And that was why he asked me. And that was when my explanation made a lot of sense to him. Now, if that is a challenge, because to us, we don't know it's a challenge. It is a challenge being here, seeing what it's like, seeing how people of other nationals are speaking and how my people speak. Indeed, it's aggressive. You don't want to see a Nigerian seeing his friend that he hadn't seen for a while. You know how that goes. Now imagine what it's like here, where everyone is calm, quiet, and you see sometimes someone is talking and on the phone, and you don't even hear what the person is saying. Calm, low. And the Nigerian sees a fellow Nigerian, hey, guy, and you know I've seen that several times. So it is weird. So now this is not you saying, accept me the way I am. Yes, the country is more like they encourage diversity. They do to a large extent. Okay? But come as you are doesn't mean you should come as you are and bring forth that thing that could appear weird. Because in actual sense, that is weird. Let's be factual. This is not having anything to do with it is my cultural practice, which I mentioned earlier, that has to be respected. This is not cultural practice. All right. So going back to the tone thing I mentioned, you want to start considering tone management. Because in so many situations, tone communicates more than words. And that is when you find yourself saying, no, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean it that way. Because in actual sense, this is what you meant, but your tone said something else. And remember, we are talking about what? A diverse what? Workplace. I hope that makes sense. Right.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
at this point, your tone should reflect professionalism. Your tone should reflect calmness, openness, confidence. But when I say confidence, I don't mean confidence with aggression. I'm talking about confidence without aggression. What did I say again? Calmness, openness, professionalism, confidence without aggression. You see, the reason why this is important is because impressions, sometimes you might not have the opportunity to what? Recreate your first impression. And you see, whatever impression you make in someone, Okay, let's look at it this way. Let's assume we all here, in one way or the other, have been maybe talked down on by someone in the past, in one way or the other. Maybe someone said abusive things or things that didn't sit well with us. Now, let me ask you, something someone said 15 years ago, you know, it's possible that you might not remember the words, word for word.
Yeah.
But if there is anything you might not forget forever, it is how those words made you feel. How the words made you feel is one thing that you might hardly forget. So people may forget your exact words, but they rarely forget how your communication made them feel. So that's why you want to be careful with your choice of words. So let me ask another question. In your opinion, what causes more problems in workplace? Is it what we say or how we say it? I just want to ask, yeah. Or let me say, what do you think could cause more problems? I need someone to answer. Just say something. What do you think could cause more problems? Is it what you say or how you said what you say?
It's how you say what you said. How you
Thank
said
you.
what you say.
How
Lovely.
I said what I said.
Good. Because the way a message, because one thing could mean a million things. Now look at this. Wow, it's cloudy. Oh, it's raining. What did I just say? It's raining. I would use this same set of words and I'd say it maybe in 3 different ways. It's raining. It's raining. It's raining. It's the same set of words. But what do they portray? It's raining. It's just a statement. I'm just saying it, and I might be sad even saying it like, "Oh, it's raining. It's raining. I'm excited. It's raining. I'm surprised." Now you see, I said the same thing, but how I said this same set of words depicts something different to you or to the listener. Okay? So how you say what you said is very key, or how you said what you say, whichever way. So in many workplaces, conflicts are not just caused by intention, but most times it is caused by interpretation. So you have to be what? Careful, more especially with your choice of words. And how can you do that? Remember what I mentioned about vocabulary development. You have to know the alternative ways of saying maybe a particular thing. It's like someone sending you your payment today and you say, seen, thank you. And maybe the next chat was the same, another receipt of payment, and you say, seen, thank you. And all the threads is seen, thank you, seen, thank you. Come on, you two, aren't you tired of seeing thank you? There are other ways you can say that. That even if that person comes back to visit your chat, it doesn't seem crazy to you. I'm sorry, I'm not saying you're crazy, all right? You can say, seen, thank you today. Oh, appreciated with thanks tomorrow. Another day, I've received the payment. I appreciate it. You know, just alternative ways of saying the same thing. And it even helps people to see you as someone who is sound. I'm not trying to say you are not sound if you don't, but it says something more about you, positive. Am I communicating? Please, I just don't want to feel like I'm the only one talking. I know I'm a talkative. Agreed, I'm a talkative, okay? But this me you're seeing here, who is a talkative, used to be shy, right? So maybe I should just tell you a bit of that, you know, yesteryear's side of me. I used to be, I don't want to say timid, but I used to be an introvert. But look at me today, I talk for a living. Isn't that interesting? So please allow me to talk, okay? I'll allow you to talk when it's time to. So bear with me if I'm talking too much, okay? Thank you. So having talked about all of these, let's move down to active listening. Now, remember, I didn't say listening. I said active listening. So when you're listening to people, you're communicating, remember? Communicating is I talk, you listen, you talk, I listen. Don't hear people. Listen to them. People want to feel heard. Just look at that moment where a client walked in and the client is just looking for whom to talk to. Maybe they felt dissatisfied having been dealt with by, say, the receptionist or the front desk department, and they just need someone to talk to express their displeasure. And this person, now put yourself in the position of that client. And the person you were talking to is also interrupting you or trying to correct you in what you are saying or trying to say, okay, I've heard you. Okay, I understand. There's no need. I understand. No, no. You want to be heard. So that moment anyone is talking to you, remember, there is no nonsense in a meeting. It is everybody's opinion. Listen to them. Don't assume that you know what they have to say. Like I said before, people listen to react. Many of us have seen that situation where you're seeing someone who hadn't seen you for so many years and they're greeting you and they're like, hey, good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. How is your And before the person is saying, how is you, you're already saying fine. Yeah, it happens. You're saying fine. So how is that? Oh, everyone is doing good. And the person ended up saying, how is that your project? And you had already said, everyone is fine. You were so quick to respond. That is not active listening. Active listening means you listen with intention. Pay full attention. Maintaining good eye contact. Asking clarifying questions. Paraphrasing what someone said. Now, I'll take these one after the other. Talking about paying full attention. Now, Dr. Catherine, I'd like you to just tell me something. Maybe you're telling me something about how this path to success has been like so far. Okay, we are in the meeting and you're giving me like a breakdown. Okay, this person spoke on the first night and Dr. Ayer, then we had Rachel, and next was Kosi. Just tell me something like that.
Talking about the path to success, it's been so far so good.
Okay.
On our very first day, we had Mrs. Obianujuwoko who talked to us about parenting. And
Okay.
next we have Dr. Shakirat Ayobami, and
Okay.
she walked us through investing in real estate and how lucrative it could be, even for those with decent earnings. And then we
Okay.
had Miss Rachel Okonkwo, who gave us an exceptional presentation on personal branding in a way we have never learned personal branding. She was real detailed. And yesterday we had Mr. Kosi Sochepu Obinabo, who talked to us about AI, leveraging artificial intelligence at the workplace and earning from it. And today we have Mr. Emeka Onyejiaka,
Who
and
is
he's
he?
taking us through. He's right here in front of me. He's taking us through communication in a diverse workplace. So far it's been so good. And the most interesting aspect of all of this is that we're not just focused on one particular topic, we're touching different fields. It means a piece of cake for everyone.
Okay. Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you very much for that fine one, Dr. Catherine. Okay. I'm far away from her. We are all far apart, okay? But we try to make this look like we are standing right, face to face, even if it's virtual. Now, can anyone observe anything about me while she was narrating everything? Did anybody observe anything about me? Anybody? I need someone to say something. Please.
Well, I observed you were nodding.
Okay.
And we're nodding and we're saying we're affirming her by saying okay, making her to understand you were listening, you were understanding what she was saying.
Okay.
And you didn't interrupt her, no, nothing. You didn't come in, you just allow her to finish.
Thank you very much for that fine observation. So in actual sense, I paid full attention. Remember I said full. I didn't say pay attention. I paid full attention. I maintained what? Good eye contact. Now imagine when she was talking. Please, can you just say maybe 2 lines of some of the things she said before? Dr. Catherine?
Okay. It's been exciting. It's been rewarding, I must say. And I am privileged to be the host of this particular edition, or do I say season, of the Path to Success Conference.
Okay.
Mr.
All right.
Emeka, are you?
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Now, who observed something? Or what did you observe? Anyone, please feel free to say something. All right. What did you observe? Oh my goodness.
I want to give audience to the rest of us, others.
Okay. Yeah, the question was for everyone else, okay? Yeah, what did you observe? Every other person. Yeah, what did you observe? Okay, the clarity in her voice. Okay, good.
No, that was for the previous one. That was for the previous.
Okay. What did you observe about me? I mean, while she was talking. No one is saying anything. Okay.
Clapped.
No eye contact. You were just
okay.
Checking the environment, looking left, right. We weren't paying attention to her.
Okay, thank you. So, Dr. Catherine, in actual sense, thank you very much, Ms. Best. How would you feel if that was a reality? How would you feel?
I would feel disconnected, and I might want to consider it as being rude, depending on the circumstances.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So there need to be this, you have to make someone feel regarded. It is very key. But in actual sense, I might be busy. I might be busy. I might be typing and not having all the time to make that eye contact. So what am I supposed to say? Please, can you say something again? Can you say something again, Dr. Catherine?
Okay, so the path to success has been rewarding. This year has gone beyond
I'm sorry. Hold on, please. I'm sorry. I am listening to you, okay? Please don't feel offended. I just have to wrap up with this, but I am following up with everything you're saying, okay? Thank you for your understanding. Now you see.
Okay, so the time rewarding and
Now you
so
see.
everybody can.
I was busy. The other time I was busy, but now I'm still busy. But what did I do to show or make the difference between the previous time and the last one? Or the present previous one? Or the latest previous one, rather? So I know that what I'm doing would not help me to maintain that eye contact, but I'm giving you an assurance that I am paying a full attention. Okay? So, having talked about that, let's look at asking clarifying questions. Remember, she mentioned so many things. I might skip one, and I might be like, wait, did you say who took, was it Dr. Ayobami before Mrs. Nwoko? Or now remember, I might be making a report on this and skipping something. I have to clarify. Even the moment I'm doing that, the person who is speaking, it shows that I am concerned about everything that you're saying. And another thing is paraphrasing. So by the time you were done talking, I might want to ask a question like, so what you explained so far, it means that on the first night it was Mrs. Nwoko. And now you can see I didn't say it was Mrs. Nwoko. I was like, Mrs. Nwoko. And she'll be like, yes, followed by Dr. Ayobami, right? Who was the next person again? Rachel Okonkwo. Then Mr. Kosiso Chukwu, right? Now you see, I am paraphrasing. For what? Clarity. Clarity. Paraphrase. Someone might talk to you, just like our friend here mentioned earlier. Was it Miss Joy? Yeah, she said something about explaining everything to the person. And it was during payments that they knew that they were worlds apart based on the order and the what? The service. Now imagine if that man or the client or the customer had paraphrased, or the customer hadn't mentioned what they wanted, and she paraphrased. I am sure what happened at the end wouldn't have been the situation. So that is why active listening is very key. Remember the word active, not just listening, not just hearing. I'm hearing you is different from I'm listening to you. Right? And listening to you in such case should come with what? Activeness. Okay. So remember all I mentioned earlier? I said what? Paying full attention, maintaining good eye contact, asking clarifying questions, and paraphrasing what someone said. This shows respect, and it ends up helping you to prevent what? Misunderstanding. And another thing you should also avoid is what? Assumptions in a diverse workplace. Assumptions can be what? Very dangerous. Now imagine where someone who, like they say, sometimes some certain things are not the best or true tests of knowledge. Let's assume someone who works in your organization is someone who speaks with a very thick Ibotic accent. Do you know that some people might just be like, based on the way this guy is speaking, he's not tush, he's not posh, and they assume that person is incompetent. Do you know that's possible? It's highly possible. Highly possible. So if there is anything you should avoid, it is what? What did I call it again?
Assumption.
Assumptions.
Assumption.
Assumptions lead to prejudice. When you say prejudice, it's like prejudging someone even before their action, even before you get to know them. Okay? So someone's competence, you're assuming it because of their accent, because of you're assuming their intelligence because they are quiet. You're assuming their values because of their culture. Please avoid assumptions. It leads to prejudice. Instead of assumption, have that mind of curiosity, wanting to know everybody from who they truly are. It helps you to deal with them the way you were supposed to, or the way that is required to deal with that person. They say curiosity builds bridges, or builds bridges. But you see, assumptions, they create barrier. Yes, that is because you feel you've already known the person just by the way they appear. But curiosity will make you want to know that person. And by so doing, you are seeing who that person truly is, not based on assumptions. Because if you assume, it means you've already known the person. There is already a barrier there. I hope that makes sense. Does it? Does it?
Absolutely, it does.
Thank you.
Yes, it does.
Almost coming to an end. We'll be rounding off shortly. So there is something I want to say. Remember, I mentioned something about verbal communication. I mentioned non-verbal, which could be the eye contact, facial expressions, the gesticulation, the body language, and all that. There is also what I call digital communication. And I'll just narrow that down to email. In today's workplace, your email communication represents your professionalism. Yes, it does. So remember, all of these is all about what? Maintaining professionalism. And when it comes to email writing, it has its own practices. And I'll just list those best practices of email writing, or should I say email communication. You have to know how to use clear subject lines. I know in our part of the world, we don't really have that culture of email writing, but there are places you find yourself, it is the only means of communication amongst workers. In this part of the world, don't be surprised that you might not have the phone numbers of 95% of everyone that works in that same organization. In fact, in the same team with you. Because their phone numbers is their private, in fact, away from work. So if you have to communicate with me on anything concerning work, email me. And email moves swiftly here. And in so many corporate organizations in Nigeria as well. So if you have to draft an email, you see the subject, some people, you see the subject empty. That's not appropriate. It's like telling me something and not telling me why you are telling me that thing. Because I am working, I might be doing other things, and I see your email, I look at the subject, oh, this requires urgency. But imagine when there is no subject. Did you communicate that thing to me effectively? The answer is no, even though it is written. So you must try to use subjects and not just subjects, clear subjects, lines. I'll add that. So you must keep your messages well structured. Go straight to the point. And if possible, let your message come in a chronological order, according to how things, not one this way, another one that way, another one this way, and everything is just scattered. Let it be in a chronological order. And there is one thing you have to avoid. Yes, I have to say this now because I once received an email and everything was typed in capital letter. Oh my goodness. It's weird. Yeah, I can see this Dr. Catherine doing it. Yeah, please, you have to avoid that. Now, this is not me wanting to take you back to your cradle days where we teach you letter writing. You don't mix capital letters with small letters. Now, no, that one we all know it. But you see, all capital letters, avoid it. Yeah. I have to bring that in because I have witnessed it. It doesn't even appear good. It doesn't encourage one to read even. So another thing you should be mindful of is sarcasm. It is a Nigerian thing. I know. Now, when I say sarcasm, okay, look at that moment where maybe you're gathering some things back in the years. You're gathering some things and you look at your mom. Mommy, where should I keep them? And your mom looks at you. No, come and put them on my head. Put them inside my nose. Now that is sarcasm. We are very good at it. Not everyone is, though. And like I said, we are creating what? An enabling ground for everyone to follow and be peaceful. All right. So you want to avoid sarcasm. Not everybody understands it. A couple of weeks, some days ago, someone just mentioned something about my water bottle. Oh my goodness, I didn't remember to fill it up with water. And while he said that, it was like, do you think I should fetch water from the tap? I should take water from the tap. I can drink the water on the tap. And the person who was asking was a Nigerian. I guess what the Nigerian said? No, the water in the tap is for you to wash your toes. He didn't say bathe with, he said wash your toes. I understood what he meant. But the person he was talking to was like, what are you saying? Wash my toes. Not wash my foot or my feet or my body, my toes. Now that is sarcasm. It is something that if in this gathering someone mentions that, we all might laugh to it. Might. Even someone who understands sarcasm might even find it offensive. How much more someone who doesn't understand it? So you want to avoid it, both when you were speaking verbally or in a written format. So use clear subject lines, keep messages well structured, avoid writing in all capital letters, avoid sarcasm in written communication, even spoken one. Okay? Respond within a reasonable time frame when someone sends you an email. It's very important. And that is also why you should also consider someone when you want them to respond quickly by stating out a clear subject line. So you also be careful of time zones. Yes, I had to include that because you might as well be working with people from other parts of the world. So consider their time zones too, because there are places where they are already in tomorrow as we speak. There are places where they're already in tomorrow, right now. It is night for you. This is afternoon for me. Some people are in tomorrow morning already. So you want to be kind with your words too, even when writing. And some things might be urgent. So should you say, send the report ASAP, send the report immediately? I think you can use a better approach. So instead of me to tell you something like, send it ASAP, someone might think ASAP even is for a certain generation. I can't say that to someone who was born in the 70s. They might not understand. Even many people born in the 80s. And someone who can comprehend with that might also find that offensive. So remember, we are talking about being kind with our words too. So instead of me to tell you ASAP, I might want to use other words like kindly share the report, kindly share the email, kindly share the information by 2 p.m. if possible. Thank you. Now, this was written, and if I read that, I'll feel regarded. I will regard that more than you saying ASAP or saying immediately. I said, if possible. So I'll just talk about one more thing, and if you allow me, I'll keep talking. But let me just talk about maybe one or two few things. And now let's look at one important thing which has to do with disagreeing with people, disagreeing without disrespect. That's what I'll call it. I don't buy your idea, but it doesn't mean explaining that I disagree means I should disrespect you. Because there are times where disagreements could be inevitable.
Just like the case study.
Exactly.
We used.
Yes. So disagreements are inevitable in professional environments. In fact, in every environment. However, how we disagree matters. Okay? Just like the case study. Now imagine if one of those presenters had said, well, that's an interesting point, no doubt. Would you mind if I offer another perspective to that? Now, imagine if that was said by one of them. This wouldn't have been a topic today. It wouldn't have been a topic that we will be treating right now. It wouldn't have been a case study for us right now. So that's what it means to say you're disagreeing, but you're not disrespecting. I belong to a lot of groups, and there was a time we were asked to come up with a suggestion on how to treat a situation, an incident of misconduct by one of us, who was like one of the top officials, and everyone was coming up with their opinions, and the opinion I came up with went in line with so many other opinions. However, about two people, a lot of people were sitting on the fence, while a lot of people concurred with my own side of the thoughts, while someone and another person who later bought his idea was like, let's do it this way. And when I mentioned mine, a lot of people said, okay, it would be nice for us to go this way. Now, remember, that was brought up for everyone to air their opinions. Then we will decide as a group on how to deal with that issue of misconduct. Now, that person who opposed, do you know what he said? He said, well, what we are trying to do, because we are trying to follow due process. And for him, yes, he made a point by saying this person is arrogant. Following this due process is a waste of time. Let's hit him. Let's hit at him. Let's give him a hammer. But we were suggesting, let's follow the due process. Let's summon him. And when we try to address this and he's not buying the idea, then we can strike the hammer. And this person did not buy this idea of confronting, addressing. He just wanted us to use the hammer straight up. Now, guess what he said? You guys, or you people, you guys should go ahead with your dilly-dallying. I will never forget that. And when you arrive at this point that I have mentioned, then I will join you people. Yes, those are his words. First and foremost, you guys is wrong. When you're addressing people in such settings, you don't want to say address them as you guys or you people. They're better words. I'm sorry, can anyone hear me? I think this is frozen. Please, someone should confirm if they can hear me.
We can
I
hear
can hear
you.
you.
I
Oh,
can
great.
hear
Thank
Can
you.
you.
hear you,
I
sir.
can see Dr.
You can hear
Kathleen's
you.
picture is frozen. Okay, thank you for the confirmation. So you don't address, yeah, you can say wonderful people. Yeah. You can say folks. It is accepted. But saying you guys, it's not. People use it. Even I see presenters use it. Even the same Oji, as much as I like her presentation and everything, when they have the same Oji on Arise News, I watch her almost on a daily basis. Like when they have the matters trending, she'll always begin with you guys, or at the end, she ends with you guys. So that is not professional. Please note that. Okay. Thank you. So you don't want to say things like that, even though you are disagreeing with people's opinion. You can simply say, I understand your view. Perhaps we could also consider this option. Wow, that's a valid point. However, how about we explore these other approaches and see which suits best? You don't attack ideas. Sorry, you can only attack ideas, not the people. It is very wrong. There are ways you come at it, and it ends up being that you are attacking the people. It is only nice for you to attack ideas, not the people. Please take note of that. Okay. And sometimes you might want to address something. There is something we call the I, using the I system. I'll just think of that word again. Okay. So when you are coming up with some certain things, you want to own it. You want to own that thing. You don't just want to attack that person by making it too straightforward. You want to say I, instead of saying you're always late to meetings. You might want to say, I am not too comfortable with the fact that we start our meeting late because of your absence or your late attendance. Now you see how I am owning it. I am not putting it like you're always late to meetings. So that I factor, yes, can always come in, more especially when you are trying to correct someone. You first say how you feel before you say what their action is. It goes a long way. Okay, so before I draw my curtains close, let me ask this question. Let's assume during a meeting, a colleague says, that idea won't work. Maybe you made you came up with an opinion, and a colleague says, that idea won't work. Now I'm asking you, how would you professionally respond without tension? I just need someone to say something regarding everything we've said so far. Let's see if you've started thinking of how to implement everything we've talked about. I don't want to call anyone, but I just mean wish someone could say something. You made a suggestion, and someone is saying that's your suggestion won't work. How would you go about it? Or someone made an opinion, and another person says, no, that's rubbish, that won't work. Or someone said something and you have something else to say. How would you go about it? Can anyone say something? I don't want to feel like I'm the
Yes,
only person talking. Okay, thank you, Mr.
yes,
Emmanuel. Good.
good afternoon, good evening, Miss uh, Emeka. So, for me, I think I'll come this way. First of all, I'll say, appreciate your opinion, your submission concerning this matter. Would you mind thinking it this way? Like me, my own suggestion. So that's how I think I will come in.
Thank you. That's perfect. That's great. Now, when you were talking to me in that manner, your opinion, yeah, you're even inviting me to your thoughts. It is way better than debunking anything that I must have said, making me feel like I'm stupid or making me feel less of myself. You don't want to make people feel that way. You want to make them feel welcomed, appreciated, even if what they said is not what it is that you think is the right thing. Okay? So at this point, I would also like to tell you about the nonverbal. It has to do with facial expressions. Don't forget, body language, your body should be depicting what your mouth is saying. Your hand gestures goes a long way. Your personal space. You don't want to talk to someone and you're crossing your hands, placing your hands across the shoulders. No, you don't want to do that. Okay, so in some cultures, even direct eye contact signals confidence, while some they feel it's confrontational. So you want to be aware of your environment, know everybody for who they are, understanding each person in their own um, distinct, or should I say, unique way. Okay, also, don't forget the general communication differences. As I mentioned before, we have the Gen Zs. The Gen Zs, they prefer quick and direct communication. Everything for them is like now, 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 now thing. The millennials, we appreciate collaboration and feedback. Yeah, we want to work with you. Okay, the Generation X, they tend to value independence and efficiency. The baby bloomers, they often prefer structured and formal communication. So you want to know these different people of different generations. It helps you to know how to deal with them. Okay? Remember, many communication, topics, or should I say, contents of communication could be sensitive. So you want to know how to handle them. Okay, you choose the right environment, you control your emotions, more especially when it is a sensitive situation. You want to focus on behavior, not the personality. You want to use the I statements, like I mentioned earlier. It's like someone walking in late and you're saying, you're always late. No, you want to say stuff like, I've noticed meeting starts late when you are absent. How can we improve? Now, you see, talking to someone in this manner is helping the person to feel, even though what they are doing, you're making them see that what they are doing is disrupting a lot of things, but you're still making them feel welcomed. Yeah. So you practice, you practice these things. For some of these things, we know them, but we might not have been doing them. But you want to be, like I said, I am drawing, or should I say, bring back your awareness to these things we already know. You want to be intentional about it. And that is where emotional intelligence comes in. So you be careful of your tone, mindful of it. You listen more intentionally. You avoid making assumptions. Be professional in written communication. Ask questions before reacting. Develop cultural awareness. And you see, these little things we've just mentioned, they produce big professional results. We've seen cases where they're apportioning maybe a committee, like an ad hoc committee, and they're creating a committee and they are asking who should lead this group, and everyone is pointing towards somebody. They're not just pointing at that person for pointing's sake, or maybe they don't want a responsibility. But in most cases, they are seeing someone who has all these qualities, because that is the things, those are the things they need in order for that committee to carry out what they need to carry out successfully. So you want to be that person that people would want to say, yes, you're capable of doing this. And when that person is you, or when you are that person who is always called because of these things that you exhumed, always called to lead groups, you're calling promotion for yourself. You don't want to be that person that when they say this is everyone is like, no, I can't work with this person. Or you think these HRs, you think these management, they don't see these things. They do. And that's the reason I said at the beginning that talent can get you hired. But you see, one of the major determinants as to how far or how fast you grow is your effective communication. So as we conclude, I would like to leave you with these thoughts. Remember that in a diverse workplace, people may not always remember your qualifications, okay? People may not always remember your job title even. But if there is one thing that people will always remember, it is how you made them feel through your communication. Respectful communication builds trust. Intentional communication builds influence. Professional communication creates opportunities. The professionals who thrive in today's global workplace are not necessarily the loudest or the most aggressive. Most times, they are emotionally intelligent communicators. So wherever you find yourself tomorrow, in meetings, maybe when you're writing an electronic letter, which is an email, or you're having a conversation or a negotiation with people or someone, I would always want you to remember this. Communication etiquette is not just about being polite. It's about being wise. It's about being intentional. And it's about being impactful. And that is what you want people to see about you. So at this point, I'll have to draw my curtains closed. But before I do so, I'd like to know if anyone has any question, anything you would want us to just deliberate on before we call it a night. Or should I say, maybe we can end it here, because I guess, not like I guess, I know many of you must have been tired at the moment, but I'll advise that you feel free to drop your questions on the platform and they will be attended to. Questions, comments, observations, anything, how you feel about this session, anything, just drop it there on the platform and they will be treated accordingly. So at this point, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of you for making out this time to be here, for being with us from day one. It shows how much you really wish to improve on yourself. So at this point, I say congratulations to all of you, because you are on the right path to success. So thank you once again. Dr. Catherine, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Emeka. I hope my microphone was not on. I thought it was off. I was battling with power issues here, but I guess I'm good now. Thank you so much. This has been I don't know the right adjective to use for this session. Maybe I should leave it to our audience to tell us how has this been like? I don't want to say it because if I say something, everybody will say, okay, it's because he's her husband. But tell me, how has it been so far? I want to hear from your own view. How has it been? Yes, insightful. And then Lana said insightful. You can use the microphone. You can unmute your microphone and express yourself. Remember, we're talking about communication. Yeah, you can do the written communication. You can do the voice communication. Yeah. So tell us, how has it been? You can voice your thoughts. How many people do we still have on board? 20 people. So does anyone want to use the microphone, or are we all
I
tired,
was
or is
trying
someone
to
still
raise my
here?
hands. I don't know if
Oh, so sorry.
Awesome. Okay,
All
thank you
right, you have
so
the floor.
much, Dr. Emeka. That was such an insightful session. I mean, it was very practical. And I like the fact that you're able to also address, there's something I shared on the platform earlier this morning. I mean, yeah. And leaving here, I'm able to give some feedback to another platform where we discuss that situation, the Rufai and or what's her name?
OGOP.
Was OG Opez, situation. So thank you so much. Such an insightful session. God bless you.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Emeka, I just have one quick question for you. What do you have to say about people, especially Gen Z, who address other people as you guys? No, I'm gradually coming to terms with that term. Yeah, I'm beginning to accept it like, okay, this is what it is now. Okay,
Well,
let me accept
I address
it.
that.
I don't want to be like an old woman, right? So you might want to touch that a bit.
I actually did in your absence. There was a time you went offline. Yeah, I actually addressed
Good,
that. Yes.
good. Okay,
So
I'll watch the replay. Let
it's
me take us back.
okay. Okay.
I'll watch the replay.
I
All
think
right. Thank
Ogechukwu
you,
has
Doso.
something to say.
Okay,
Ogechukwu,
Chukwu, please, you
Elizabeth.
have the floor.
All right. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
All right. First of all, I want to say a very big thank you for this opportunity. The teaching was like an eye-opening for me. You know, like the whole thing this evening was reflecting in my workplace, and I have really learned a lot in the ways I could react, communicate to people, even when I'm talking to someone that is more superior to me at workplace. And I think most of the teachings this night is something that I will implement to my day-to-day activities moving forward. So I really want to say a very big thank you, sir, Mr. Emeka. Though I was quite late, I didn't follow from the beginning, but like within the 1 hour plus I've stayed this night, it has been so impactful. I really want to say thank you, sir.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for also being here. If you are not here, then we are not here. So I'm glad to know that we made your time, your invested time worthwhile. I'm glad to know that. So I appreciate you too, as much as you appreciate us. Thank you.
I'm great. Thank you. All right.
All right.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ms. Ogechukwu. Thank you. So does anyone else want to make use of the microphone? The microphone is at your service. All right. Yes, you definitely get the recordings. Sorry, this woman here is really busy, so I'm not quick to send the recordings, but I'll definitely do it, please. Yeah, thank you so much.
I think Miss Joy Collins, Miss Joy Collins has something to say. Please go ahead.
Please, you have the floor.
Yeah, I just want to
You
say
have
a
the
very
floor.
big thank you to
All right.
Mr. Yes, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Emeka for the teaching this evening. I didn't start with the group when the conference started, but I joined I was here for yesterday's session, and then I also joined this one. And sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you, because most of the things he spoke about are practical things that happen like in our workplace on a daily basis, sincerely. And honestly, I strongly believe that I will never be the same. I'm going to be better at the way I communicate with my colleagues, with customers, even with my kids. When he mentioned that somebody was asking why do Nigerian women love shouting, I was just laughing. I was just laughing here. I said, that's our trademark. Even when we talk to our kids, so by the grace of God, I'll stop shouting. So thank you so very much, sir. God.
We will stop shouting. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Joy. Thank you. It's good. One beautiful thing about presentations, how you know good speakers, is when you can relate with what they are saying. You can bring or picture their words. So what they are saying is not abstract from your reality, is not alien to you. That is what we're talking about here. And Mr. Emeka has been a speaker, for a teacher, a coach for 13 years. So I wasn't expecting less, right? I wasn't expecting less from you. Thank you so much, Mr. Emeka. You've been
Point
wonderful
of
tonight.
correction. Point of correction. Officially 13 years. Unofficially 15 years. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
When I
Okay,
say
I need to do
officially,
my
unique
research.
accents, all
So you
right?
don't tell me to you carry Ananobi.
Oh, Dr.
Correction.
Samuel. Dr. Samuel is indicating. Dr. Samuel, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Emeka, and then our host also. Thank you for this great opportunity to be part of this. In fact, my wife literally dragged me into being part of it. She attended the one for yesterday, and then she shared the link today. And then I was initially sluggish about it, but when I started, I had to pick up my pen and paper, and I started learning again. Thank you so much for refreshing our minds. Thank you so much for opening our eyes to those things around us that probably we knew, but we didn't know how important those actions were. I know that a lot of us will go home, we go to bed this night, and for some of you that are over there, for us here, we'll go to bed, or wake up new persons, and then we promise you that we implement all these things that we've learned. And we're looking forward for more opportunities to listen to you and then share our thoughts. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, Dr. Samuel. Talking about more opportunities to listen to him, the opportunities are right on your feed. Just register for the April edition of the Orators Guild, where we groom business and career professionals on effective communication, leadership development, elocution, public speaking, and customer service management. So everything around professional development, personal development, we got you covered. Yes, the last time we talked about emotional intelligence, and I think that's why the lady who gave that instance on the platform gave that instance, put it into practice, live, like reality, what we learned from our classes. So it's a community for like mind and to grow. The only thing we know how to do is to grow, nothing less. Yeah,
Thank you very
you
much.
so much. We look
You're
forward to
highly
seeing more of
appreciated.
you.
Thank you. Of course, sure. I think I'll get the link. The same way I got this, I'll get more of the information from my wife.
Absolutely.
that
Just send me a
yeah.
hi on WhatsApp. I think I'm the last person or the second to the last person to leave a message on the platform. So just send me a hi on the platform or privately. Send it on the platform because the platform is pinned. Privately, it might take me days to see your message. So send a hi. Just let me know you're the person who indicated interest, and I will onboard you.
It's all right. That's fine. That's fine.
All right.
Thank
Nice
you.
speaking with you. The pleasure
Thank
is
you.
mine. Thank you so much. Do we have more hands raised?
At the moment.
Any other hand raised? Okay, at this juncture, we'll call it a night, but I mustn't fail to recognize the absence of our moderator, Ms. Ebere Emmanuel. She's unavoidably unavailable today, and yes, we miss her. Yes, so she can't be unavailable, and we don't acknowledge the fact that she's not available, right? Yes, so we missed her today, but I'm certain that she will be very much available tomorrow. So it's a privilege to host you, Mr. Emeka. I'm hosting you in two capacities as the host of the Path to Success Conference, or co-host, of course, of the Path to Success Conference, and as your wife. I'm sorry, this is the first time in history I am introducing myself in public as his wife. Ask your questions anywhere. So I just had to do it because the world is beginning to accept families working together. So we need to go with the world, right? Yeah, we need to flow. Yeah, unlike those days, say 10, 15 years ago, husband and wife, family business. But today, family business is the main business, right? Thank you
I'm sorry, I have
so
to chip
much.
in something. I think Dr. Samuel, you asked him to send a hi, but the hi was sent here on the Zoom chat.
No, please. Oh,
Yeah,
no, please.
let it be on
Platform.
WhatsApp.
Samuel, are you on the platform?
WhatsApp platform. Dr. Samuel, do you
Yeah,
mind
the WhatsApp
unmuting?
platform.
Dr. Samuel, are you there?
Is he there?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
here.
are you
I'm
on the
here.
WhatsApp platform?
Okay, no, she just corrected me now. My wife just corrected me. So she's sending
Okay, she is on the platform.
Yeah, she just corrected me. She's sending me the link so I could send the hi now.
Okay,
The actual platform that will take me to the platform, yes.
Okay, that's good. She can also do me send me a message, and I'll pick it up from there.
It's okay. That's fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your observation.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, Mr. Emeka, any last words from you before we call it a night?
Well, I think I've said all that I have to say for tonight. However, I just have one encouragement for you. Please, everything we are dishing out, remember that they are not just dished out by anybody, but by seasoned professionals. So it means you are getting a first-hand and authentic information. These are not information you should throw away. Yeah. We didn't call this the path to success for nothing. We didn't call it the path to success for nothing. We called it the path to success because there are many routes to success. And that is why we are not just talking about a particular thing. We are bringing in seasoned professionals from different fields. All of these knowledge you are garnering, put them into practice. There is only one way out, and that way out is the path to success that will lead you to success. And remember, success is not a destination. It is what, Dr. Kathleen?
It is a journey. And on this
It's a journey. Thank you.
Yeah, they already know. Yeah. At this juncture, we call it a night. Thank you so much for your active participation. And a zillion thanks to you, our guests, and my husband, Mr. Emeka Onyejiaka. From me to all of you, it's good night, everyone. See you tomorrow with Ms. Ambassador Priscilla Anemena. She'll be talking to us about communication. Yes, communication deeply in another aspect. Communication on stage. Yes, you don't want to miss that. 7 p.m. tomorrow. From here to there. Good night, everyone.